Welcome to Shark Cap Table Fast, the 1-minute deal maker that helps you keep your arms and legs. Now, as a departure, we're actually going to, instead of making a deal and selling the equity to somebody else, we're going to take a deal that's already structured and see if you want to buy it. And this tool is wonderful for that analysis. To do that, we have to go up here to these red controls, and we want to show the helpful detail, and we want to go in here and we want to do a telephonic deal. Now, the red words and numbers are placed in here from data that we already have. So without further ado, let's go down and look at what we've got for the analysis part or the data part. You have to assemble the deal data. And I'm going to move this over here so we don't have to get it in the way. And you can see it's unit pricing, shares in the unit, share offering price, etc. Now this section here is going to be a little tricky because you won't easily get that information. So what we're going to do now is we're going to split the screen. We're going to lower this down so we can see the whole thing. Let's move it down just a smidge more. That's good. And let's move this up a little bit. Let's start assembling data. So the first thing that happens is that we need to put some of this estimated cash invested. And as I say, it's not going to be easy to get that information, but you should put something in there to get an idea of how many dollars these investors really have put in prior to you. So let's put $1 million in for an estimated additional value. That's for all their hard work, blah, blah, blah. So now you got 1.1 million. They'll tell you how many shares are in the company. So let's assume that's 3 million and dial in 3 million. Now, here's the one that you got to be very careful of. They usually don't tell you up front how many options and warrants and what the conversion rate is for their convertible debt. But let's assume that after you dig through the offering brochure that you find out it's $1 million. So right here we've got $1 million. It's a little bit over. It's because we can't get exact with the spin buttons. They have an incrementation. So estimates are good enough. All right, so now what we need to do is let's come down here and we need to do the total shares offered. And the way we do that is we actually enter the offering total. And you see it's already there. We got 400 and 400. So this is just a marker. It tells you what you need and dial in 400. Now this will come alive in a minute. Let's come in here, put 2 years in sales. There it is, 2 year in the sale. And the cash out amount will be $10 million, just like it shows you up here. Dial in 10 million, and then we'll do the last thing, which is adjust pre-money value, which is going to set the price per share and ultimately give you the number of shares that you're buying. And it just is an approximation. So we have to look at this number here, the investor cost per share, and we have to equate it with the 40 cents, which is what we calculated right here, is the share price offering. So let's just dial in what the pre-money value would be when we get to 40. So you're just dialing in and looking, and when it reaches 40, and that's pretty darn close, there you have it. Now, have we made a good deal or not? Let's see. 5 times investment multiple. Well, that's not so bad. Oh my goodness, 123 internal rate of return. I don't believe it for a second, and I'll show you why, because things never get done in 2 years. They say they will, but let's see what happens in 5 years. Now it's down to 37.9. We keep the same investor multiple because it is not time dependent. Now, option guys have 20%. The founders have almost 60, so you only get 20. That's not a very good percentage. And let's see what would happen, though. The real deal is what happens if they don't get this great big exit value. So let's dial this down to about 5 million and see what happens. There we are. Oops, one more. Now it's not so good. You got an investment internal rate of return of 20%, an investment multiple of 2.5. Voting control stays the same, as does the ultimate ownership. That's what happens in these deals. Now let's go scroll down a little further and answer 4 key questions. Number 1, are you really going to see this exit value? And what about the risks ahead? Number 2, haven't the founders and the option holders sucked too much out of the deal for hardly any cash? Look at this. They're getting 80% for $100,000. Isn't the pre-money value that drives share pricing way out of line with the founder's valuation? Well, normally, if you remember from our other tutorials, that the pre-money value is almost always less than the founder valuation. So we can't touch this because that drives the share price, and it already tells you that we're way overvalued. Now, the last one is, aren't you paying too much for too little? Is there any juice left in the deal for you? And the answer is, well, you're getting 20%. These guys are sucking 80%. And the answer is probably not very much, because look, you're getting 2.5 times your money, and they're getting 300 times their money, or at least the founders are. And that's pretty crazy. So let me read you our little disclaimer. We are on everybody's stupid investor list, just so we can see the bad deals. Hardly a day goes by without a call from the telephone guy hyping a fabulous business opportunity. We always get the documents, and we are not surprised that 9 times out of 10, they are terrible deals. The business proposition is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious and not properly priced for the risks going forward. The greed factor is incredible, overpriced, overpromoted, burdened by upfront fees and commissions. And where sometimes only 50% of the money raised actually goes into expanding the business. There is no way the investors will make out on these deals. All returns accrue to the promoters. My advice is swim, swim, swim away, and keep your arms and legs. Listen, thanks very much for looking at this. You can see that this is a very flexible tool. It's great for structuring deals when you're on the sell side. It's equally valid for analyzing deals when you could be on the buy side. So use the tool before you spend money. Thanks, and let us hear from you. Bruce at sharkcaptable.com will get you an email back. Thank you.